Honestly, after this happened, I want to end my life.
Right there, that is 80-year-old Alice Lin telling California lawmakers what happened after a sophisticated scammer took more than $725,000 from her. So how can criminals convince victims to hand over their life savings? Well, the whole scam is called pig butchering. And in our exclusive Newsmax investigation, we uncovered how this elaborate scam works. Watch this.
It starts with a message, a wrong number, a social media connection, maybe someone who seems successful, friendly, even romantic. But investigators call the scam pig butchering because the victim is deliberately fattening up before the financial slaughter. For weeks, sometimes even months, criminals build trust, learning their target's fears, dreams, and finances. Then comes the investment. A slick website or app appears to show the money multiplying. Small withdrawals may even work, convincing the victim it's real. So they invest even more and more, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the profits are all fake. And when the victim finally tries to cash out, the trap snaps shut. Suddenly, taxes, fees, and demands for even more money appear. And by the time the victim realizes the truth, the person they trusted is gone. And so is their money.
Joining me now, Alice Lin, who survived this pig butchering scam, but you just heard how devastating this was for her and turned her experience into a fight to protect other seniors. Also with us, Brady, a former FBI Supervisory Special Agent and founder of the National Elder Fraud Coordination Center. Alice, the scammer found you on a WeChat group that you use for your hobbies, presented himself as a wealthy Beverly Hills businessman. You thought, okay, so this guy, obviously, he doesn't need my money. He spoke your language. He shared your culture. He shared your faith. He even told you about his wife dying in a plane crash, sending pictures of himself. He even sent you a photo claiming he nearly died in a paragliding accident and made you feel sorry for him. He sent you financial statements showing your money and how it was going far, and like he was trying to help you. Talk to me about what this did to you and how you were doing all of this to provide for your autistic son.
Well, it seems like he has a lot of loss story. I feel sympathy and empathy for him. So because of the same language, the same cultural background, as you mentioned, so I trust him.
You did trust him. And Brady, let's talk about this pig butchering playbook. Scammers, they don't start with crypto, like they start with the grief, the faith, the personal stories. You call it stacking trust. Is this what makes pig butchering so effective? And how did these scammers, how did they select who to scam?
Absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me here, and thanks for doing this segment. It's very important. To answer your question, building trust over time is a foundation of pig butchering. That's the reason it works. Building affection, sometimes even love, and telling just the little lies, just the little things that help you kind of convince your victim that this is real and this is a real relationship. Sometimes these victims are found through other schemes, other scams, ones that you may not even be aware that you were a part of. For example, a tech support scam where you paid $200, $300, $400 to get your tech problem solved on your computer, and then your information goes into essentially a scammer's database, where they are able to do research on you and further exploit you.
And Alice, you even started calling this scammer teacher. He walked you through everything step by step. He showed you a screen showing your money growing. Eventually, it looked like your life savings, everything you invested, it started with $300. It looked like it grew to $1 million, but he kept pushing for more and more. Look at this, Justin. Okay, now open the token wallet, then tap receive. So you actually thought you were making money.
Yes, because it's show on the screen on that platform. Of course, later on, I realized it's a fake one, but it keeps showing that progressively and also reasonable. It's not jump, it's a reasonable keep going up to $1 million. And then he still want to push more. I thought I would stop, but he want to push more. So he want me to borrow money.
And Brady, Alice didn't just wake up one day and decide to hand over a stranger $725,000. So how did these criminals, because obviously she's an intelligent woman, she's a sophisticated, look what she accomplished. You're a Chinese immigrant and look at what you've done for yourself. You're a very successful woman, and yet you, even somebody as intelligent as you, fell prey to this kind of scammer. So explain to people out there how it can happen. It can happen to even the most educated person.
And it does. There's victims all around the country with PhDs, with law enforcement experience. This isn't a function of intelligence, and I think we kind of need to stay away from the victim blaming on this and realize that these are very sophisticated organizations. They're very good at what they do. The $81 billion a year, that's an FTC extrapolation last year, that comes just from elders alone in terms of elder fraud, it gets reinvested in these companies. They learn what we're doing and how to best steal every last dollar. And a lot of it is this long con, this grooming, this pig butchering, which is an awful term, but I think it really does emphasize what these people are like. They will take every last dollar. They won't just take yours. They'll take every dollar you can get from your family, from loans, from selling your house. They'll not stop until they think they have every last nickel.
Now, Alice, your daughter helped stop the scam because you approached her to invest in this. So once you realized this was a scam, and again, this wasn't a get-rich-quick scheme for you. You were trying to build some sort of financial security for your son who has autism. Were you able to get any of your money back once you went to the authorities?
No. Once you wire the money out, pretty much gone. You cannot expect. It's just once you wire out, it's just gone.
And Brady, so what's the lesson here? Well,
unfortunately, this is an all too common story, and I'm so sorry to hear that this happened to you. I would say this. It's not impossible. There are programs within particularly the federal government, but also all around the United States with local police departments and things like Operation Shamrock that really do make an effort to quickly try to retrieve as much money as possible. So what I would just tell everybody out there, first and foremost, report this. It's one of the most underreported crimes in America. It's one of the reasons why it's so hard to investigate.
Brady, how do they find these people? How do they choose their victims?
Well, like I said, sometimes they buy those lists. Sometimes they create them themselves with, like I said, with other scams. Sometimes they just do their own research. AI has opened up a lot of doors. There's almost no barrier to entry anymore for criminal enterprises wanting to do this. And with as much as out there is on each of us through social media for open source information. They can develop a lot of information on their victims ahead of time so that they know the answers to the questions that they're asking before they ask them.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Alice, I'm glad to see that you're doing well. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And Brady, thank you so much for your insight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for the invitation.